The alarm blared through Earth Defense Headquarters at exactly 3:27 a.m. Earth Standard Time. Admiral James Wilson had been asleep for barely 2 hours when his comm unit flashed red. He was fully awake in seconds, years of military training kicking. "And what's the situation?" he asked, his voice clear despite the early hour. "Sir," said the night officer, "deep space monitors have detected something big. Multiple objects approaching from beyond Neptune's orbit. Moving fast." Wilson dressed quickly and hurried to the command center. The large screen showed dots of light moving in perfect formation toward Earth. Not asteroids, not comets. Too organized, too purposeful. "How many?" Wilson asked. Lieutenant Parker, the sensor specialist, looked up from her screen. Her face was pale. "Over 300 large vessels, sir. Each one bigger than our largest ship, and thousands of smaller craft." Wilson felt a chill run down his spine. Humanity had developed space travel over the past century, establishing bases on the Moon and Mars. They had even sent explorers to the moons of Jupiter, but they had never encountered alien life. Until now. "Alert all Earth governments," Wilson ordered, "and get me Captain Reed on the line." Captain Alex Reed was testing the new engines on the EDS Defender, Earth's most advanced space vessel, when the call came in. The ship's AI spoke with its calm, even voice. "Captain, priority communication from Admiral Wilson." Reed sighed. "The engine tests were going well and interruptions always caused problems. Put him through." The Admiral's face appeared on the screen. Reed could tell immediately something was wrong. Very wrong. "Captain Reed, return to Earth immediately. We have a Level 1 situation." Reed had never heard of a Level 1 situation before. The highest emergency level used until now had been Level 3 during the Mars colony crisis. "What's happening, sir?" "We'll brief you upon arrival. Suffice to say, we may be facing first contact, and they're coming with an armada." Dr. Kate Miller had been watching the stars through the Global Observatory telescope when she first noticed the anomaly. Strange energy signatures, unlike anything recorded before. She had called her colleague, Dr. Tom Fletcher, immediately. "Tom, look at these readings," she said, pointing to her screen. "These energy patterns don't match anything in our database." Tom studied the data with growing concern. "Whatever these are, they're producing more energy than our entire planet. And look at their trajectory, they're heading straight for us." Kate nodded. "I've already sent the data to Defense Headquarters. But there's something else." She pulled up another screen showing wavelength analyses. "These energy signatures aren't just powerful. They're organized. Complex patterns repeating in sequences that suggest intelligence," Tom finished her thought. "Deliberate communication." "Yes," Kate said quietly. "They're talking to each other." Within 12 hours, the entire planet knew. The news spread across every network, every country, every language.
Alien ships were approaching Earth. The response varied from panic to celebration, from religious fervor to scientific excitement. Some people fled to bunkers, others gathered on rooftops, hoping for a glimpse of the visitors. At the United Earth
Security Council, Admiral Wilson delivered his report to the assembled leaders. The fleet will reach Earth orbit in approximately 72 hours. Their current speed suggests they could arrive sooner if they wished, but they appear to be deliberately slowing down. "Have they responded to our communication attempts?" asked the Council President. Wilson shook his head. "No, Madam President. We've tried all frequencies, all known mathematical sequences, even basic binary code. They maintain complete silence." "What are our defensive options?" the Russian representative asked. Wilson displayed a holographic comparison of Earth's fleet against the approaching Armada. Earth's ships looked like toys next to the massive alien vessels. "Limited at best," Wilson admitted. "Our entire global fleet couldn't stop even a fraction of their ships. We're positioning our defenses, but realistically, if they want to attack, we can't stop them." The room fell silent as the reality sank in. "Then we must hope they come in peace," the Chinese representative said finally. Aboard the EDS Defender, now in orbit around Earth, Captain Reed studied the approaching fleet. Through the ship's advanced telescopes, he could see details of the alien vessels. They were beautiful in a strange way, sleek and curved like giant sea creatures glowing with lights of colors Reed couldn't even name. Any change in their approach vector? Reed asked his navigator, Officer Mike Bell. No, Captain, they're maintaining course directly to Earth. Current estimate puts them in orbit in 68 hours. Reed nodded. The waiting was the hardest part. He'd rather face a known danger than sit idle while an unknown threat approached. His communications officer turned suddenly. Captain, we're receiving a transmission from Earth. It's Dr. Miller from the Global Observatory. Kate's face appeared, on screen. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. Captain Reed, we've been analyzing the energy signatures from the alien fleet, and we've discovered something important. Go ahead, Doctor. Their ships are powered by something similar to our theoretical warp drives, but far more advanced. The energy output suggests they could have reached Earth days ago if they wanted to. They're deliberately taking their time. Reed considered this. They want us to see them coming. They're making a show of force. Perhaps, Kate agreed. But there's more. We've detected energy surges between their ships consistent with massive data transfers. They're communicating constantly, sharing huge amounts of information. About us? Reed asked. Possibly. But here's the strange part. Some of the data patterns match astronomical records from billions of years ago. It's as if they're comparing notes about Earth's entire history. Reed felt unease growing in his stomach. Why would advanced aliens care about Earth's ancient past? One more thing, Captain, Kate continued. The leading ship is different from the others. Much older, based on the energy signature, and it's giving off readings that match certain artifacts we've discovered in deep archaeological sites. The ones some fringe scientists claimed were of extraterrestrial origin. You're saying they've been here before? Reed asked. I'm saying it's possible, a very long time ago. As Reed contemplated this disturbing possibility, the ship's AI interrupted. Captain, sensors detect increased activity from the alien fleet. They're accelerating. Reed looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, an armada was coming for Earth. An armada that might have visited before in Earth's distant past. Alert. Admiral Wilson, Reed ordered. Tell him they're coming faster now. The countdown to first contact had begun, and humanity had no idea what awaited them. The alien armada arrived sooner than expected. One moment, Earth's skies were normal. The next, massive shadows darkened cities across the globe as hundreds of enormous ships slid into orbit. The largest ship, at least 5 miles long, positioned, itself directly above the United Nations headquarters in New York. Despite their sudden arrival, the aliens made no aggressive moves. They simply hung in the sky, silent and waiting. Captain Reed stood on the bridge of the EDS Defender, watching the alien vessels through the viewscreen. The closest ship dwarfed his vessel like a whale next to a minnow. Any weapon signatures? Reed asked his tactical officer. None that we can detect, Captain, but their hulls are blocking most of our scans. They could have entire arsenals in there and we wouldn't know. Admiral Wilson's voice came through the comm system. Captain, Reed, we're gathering an emergency meeting at UN headquarters. The aliens have finally sent a message. They want to talk. The meeting room at the UN was packed with world leaders, military officers, and scientists. Dr. Miller and Dr. Fletcher sat near the back, their equipment ready to analyze any communications. Captain Reed stood with Admiral Wilson near the main screen. The President of the United Earth Council stepped forward. Are we ready to receive their transmission? A tech nodded. Yes, Madam President, channel open. The large screen at the front of the room flickered, then filled with an image that made several people gasp. The alien had a humanoid shape, 2 arms, 2 legs, 1 head. But that's where the similarities ended. Its skin was a deep blue with patches of luminescent silver. Its face had 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern, and what appeared to be breathing slits instead of a nose. When it spoke, its mouth didn't move. Instead, the voice seemed to come from somewhere in its chest. People of Earth, the alien said in perfect English. I am Grand Admiral Vox of the Galactic Federation. We apologize for the delay in communication. We needed time to analyze your languages. The room was silent. everyone too stunned to speak. Finally, the president found her voice. "We welcome you to Earth, Grand Admiral. May I ask why you have come with such a large fleet?" The alien's upper eyes blinked slowly. "I regret that our purpose is not one you will welcome. We have come to delete Earth." Murmurs of shock and fear spread through the room. "Delete? What do you mean by delete?" the president asked, her voice shaking slightly. "Your planet's existence is an administrative error," Vox explained, his tone matter-of-fact. "According to the Cosmic Registry, Earth was scheduled for deletion 65 million years ago. A clerical oversight allowed your planet to continue existing when it should have been removed." Dr. Fletcher whispered to Dr. Miller, 65 million years. That's when the dinosaurs were wiped out. "We are simply here to complete the process," Vox continued. "The deletion will be quick and painless. All life forms will be transferred to the universal consciousness before planetary disintegration." Admiral Wilson stepped forward. "And if we refuse to be deleted?" The alien's silver patches pulsed softly. "Refusal is not an option. The Cosmic Registry's decisions are final. We are merely the executors." Back aboard the EDS Defender, Captain Reed paced the bridge. The meeting had ended in chaos, with Earth's leaders desperately trying to negotiate while the alien admiral remained unmoved. Reed had been ordered to prepare for a possible defensive strike, even though everyone knew it would be futile. "Captain," his communications officer called. "We're being hailed by one of the alien ships, not the flagship." Reed frowned. "Put it through." A different alien appeared on screen. This one had darker blue skin with gold markings around its eyes. "Captain Reed, I am Commander Trell, second in command of this fleet. I wish to speak with you privately." Reed hesitated, then nodded. "My ready room. Now." In his private office, Reed faced the alien on screen. "What do you want, Commander?" "Not all of us agree with this deletion order," Trell said, voice low. "Some of us believe the registry's records may be incomplete." Reed leaned forward. "Go on." "The registry's decision to delete Earth was based on an assessment made millions of your years ago. It did not account for the rise of human civilization." "You're saying we might have a chance to appeal?" Trell's four eyes blinked in sequence. "Perhaps. But Grand Admiral Vox follows orders without question. He will not delay the deletion without direct instructions from higher authorities." "How do we reach these higher authorities?" "You don't," Trell said. "But I might help you access the registry archives aboard our flagship. If you can find evidence that the deletion order should be reviewed, it would trigger an automatic stay of execution." Reed considered the offer. It could be a trap. But what choice did they have? "What do you need from me?" Reed asked. "I will arrange for you and a small team to be granted access to our ship. Bring your scientists, especially the ones who discovered our energy signatures." Dr. Miller couldn't believe she was about to board an alien spacecraft. She stood with Dr. Fletcher and Captain Reed in the Defender's airlock waiting for transport. "Why would this Commander Trell help us?" Fletcher asked nervously. Reed checked his hidden communicator. "He claims some of the aliens have been studying Earth for decades. They've become attached to our planet." "Alien admirers," Miller said with a slight smile. "Never thought that would be our hope for survival." A soft hum filled the airlock, and the three humans found themselves enveloped in golden light. When the light faded, they were standing in a vast chamber with curved walls that seemed to shift colors slowly. Commander Trell stood before them, taller than any human. "Welcome aboard," Trell said. "We must move quickly. Grand Admiral Vox has scheduled the deletion to begin in 72 Earth hours." 3 days to save the world," Fletcher whispered. Trell led them through corridors that seemed to breathe and pulse with light. Other aliens they passed stared at the humans with varying expressions, some curious, others hostile. "The archives are in the central core," Trell explained. "I can grant you access, but you must search for yourselves. If I were to directly help you find information against the deletion order, I would be committing treason." They entered a massive spherical room filled with floating symbols and images that moved and rearranged themselves constantly. "This is the Knowledge Center," Trell said. "It contains copies of the registry's records for this sector of the galaxy. The interface responds to thought. Simply focus on what you seek." Dr. Miller stepped forward, amazed. "We need to find Earth's deletion order, the original reasoning." Symbols swirled around her and rearranged themselves. Images of ancient Earth appeared, oceans teeming with life, giant reptiles walking the land. A document materialized before them, written in alien, symbols that somehow translated themselves in the humans' minds. "Deletion Order 7829B, Miller read aloud. "Planet designation, Earth. Reason for deletion." She gasped. "What is it?" Reed asked urgently. Miller looked up at her companions, her face pale. "It says Earth was scheduled for deletion because we were an experiment that was no longer needed. An experiment created by beings even more powerful than the Galactic Federation." Trell's body stiffened. "This is more serious than I thought. We need to find out what experiment they mean, and why it might still be relevant today." The clock was ticking. Somewhere above them, Grand Admiral Vox was preparing to erase Earth from existence. Back on Earth, chaos reigned. The news of the deletion order had leaked to the public. Some people rioted in the streets. Others gathered in churches, temples, and mosques to pray. Many families simply huddled together at home, watching the massive ships through their windows. In the United Nations Emergency Chamber, Admiral Wilson addressed the assembled world leaders. "We have 70 hours until the aliens begin their deletion process," he said grimly. "Our military options are limited. Their technology is far beyond ours. So we surrender? We just accept extinction?" The Russian president pounded his fist on the table. "No," Wilson replied. "Captain Reed and a small team are aboard the alien flagship now, looking for a loophole, a way to appeal this deletion order." "And if they fail?" asked the Chinese premier. Wilson's face hardened. "Then we fight anyway. We show these aliens that humans don't go quietly." The room fell silent as the monitors displayed Earth's combined military forces, every ship, plane, and weapon on the planet, compared to the alien Armada. It wasn't even close. "There might be another option," said a quiet voice from the back. Everyone turned to see Professor Jack Howard, Earth's leading expert on communication theory. "The aliens mentioned a cosmic registry that makes these decisions," Howard continued. "Perhaps we can appeal directly to them, show them what they'd be losing by deleting Earth." "How?" Wilson asked. "We gather everything that makes humanity special, our art, music, literature, scientific discoveries. We broadcast it all on every frequency in every direction. We show the universe what we're worth." The Brazilian president nodded slowly. "A cosmic plea for mercy. It's worth trying." "While Captain Reed searches for a legal loophole," Wilson agreed, "we'll prepare humanity's case for existence." Aboard, the alien flagship Reed, Miller, and Fletcher were still in the Knowledge Center, surrounded by swirling data about Earth's history. Commander Trell stood guard at the entrance, occasionally checking for approaching officers. "Look at this," Miller said, pointing to a holographic display. According to their records, Earth wasn't just any experiment. It was a diversity incubator, a planet specifically designed to evolve many different types of life. Fletcher adjusted his glasses as he studied another section of data. "The beings that created Earth, they're called the Seeders here. They apparently did this with many planets, but most were shut down after they reached a certain stage." Reed frowned. "Why?" "It doesn't say exactly," Fletcher replied. "But there's something about dangerous potential and unpredictable outcomes." Miller's eyes widened as a new set of data appeared before her. "Wait. According to this, most planets only evolved one dominant intelligent species. Earth was unusual because it had the potential for several intelligent species?" Reed asked. "But humans are the only ones." "Now, yes," Miller said. "But think about it. Neanderthals existed alongside humans for thousands of years, and there's evidence that other early human species lived at the same time. Trell moved closer, his four eyes blinking rapidly. This is significant. The registry typically classifies planets by their dominant species. If Earth was designed to support multiple intelligent species, that would place it in a protected category. But we don't have multiple intelligent species now, Fletcher pointed out. What about dolphins? Great apes? They show signs of advanced intelligence, Miller suggested. Not enough, Trell said. The registry requires language, tool use, and abstract thinking at minimum. Reed paced the floor, thinking hard. What if we could prove humans themselves represent diversity? That we're not just one monolithic species, but incredibly varied in our cultures, languages, and ways of thinking? Trell considered this. It's not a standard classification, but it might trigger a review. We need more data about human diversity. On the EDS Defender, Officer Mike Bell received an encrypted message from Captain Reed. The captain needed data, massive amounts of data about human cultural and genetic diversity, examples of different languages, art forms, problem-solving, approaches. Bell turned to the communications officer. Contact Earth. Tell them to send everything they can about what makes humans different from each other, but also what unites us, and tell them to hurry. All across Earth, people worked frantically. To compile humanity's case for survival, museums digitized their collections. Libraries sent their most important works. Scientists contributed research showing human genetic diversity. Linguists submitted examples of Earth's 7,000 languages. At the Global Observatory, a team worked to boost Earth's transmission capacity, building enormous new antennas to send all this data to the alien fleet. Admiral Wilson supervised the military's contribution, not weapons, but evidence of human courage, sacrifice, and honor from throughout history. Stories of soldiers who died saving others, of enemies who became friends, of people who stood up against impossible odds. Will it be enough? Asked his aide. Wilson watched as the data streamed toward the alien ships. It has to be. In his command chamber, Grand Admiral Vox received a report from his security officer. The humans are broadcasting massive data transmissions to our fleet, the officer said. Ignore them, Vox replied. Their pleas are irrelevant. The registry's decision is final. Sir, there's something else. Commander Trell has granted 3 humans access to the Knowledge Center. Vox's luminescent patches flared bright silver, a sign of anger in his species. Bring them to me immediately, all 4 of them. Reed, Miller, and Fletcher worked frantically. In the Knowledge Center, feeding human diversity data into the alien system, searching for anything that might trigger a review of the deletion order. Look at this, Fletcher said suddenly. There's a subsection about unique evolutionary traits. If a species shows abilities not seen elsewhere in the galaxy, they can be classified as an exceptional development case. What abilities would qualify? Reed asked. Miller was scanning through the criteria. Unusual adaptability, accelerated cultural evolution, unique problem-solving approaches. That's us, Fletcher exclaimed. Humans went from basic tools to space travel in an evolutionary blink of an eye. Our rate of technological development is exponential compared to most species. Reed felt a flicker of hope. Can we use that to trigger a review? Before Trell could answer, the doors to the Knowledge Center slid open. 6 alien guards entered, weapons ready. Commander Trell, the lead guard announced. You and the humans are ordered to appear before Grand Admiral Vox. Immediately. Trell's body stiffened. On what charge? Interference with a registry deletion order. The penalty is severe, Commander. As they were led away, Reed whispered to Miller and Fletcher, keep looking for that loophole. This isn't over yet. The time, left until Earth's scheduled deletion, had dropped to 54 hours. Grand Admiral Vox's command chamber was vast and dimly lit. The walls seemed to shift and move, displaying star systems and galaxies that floated by like silent ghosts. Vox himself sat on a raised platform, his blue skin almost black in the low light, silver patches pulsing slowly. Captain Reed, Dr. Miller, Dr. Fletcher, and Commander Trell stood before him, surrounded by guards. Commander Trell, Vox's voice resonated from his chest. You have violated direct orders. Helping these humans search for exemptions is forbidden. Trell stood tall, all four eyes focused on his superior. Admiral, I believe the deletion order contains irregularities that require review. The registry does not make mistakes, Vox replied coldly. With respect, sir, Reed interrupted. We've found evidence that Earth was designed as a diversity incubator. According to your own records, such planets have special protection. Vox's upper eyes narrowed. Even if that were true, your planet failed its purpose. You have only one intelligent species, not multiple as required. That's not entirely accurate. Dr. Miller stepped forward. Humans represent diversity within a single species that may be unique in the galaxy. We have thousands of cultures, languages, belief systems, and problem-solving approaches. Irrelevant. Vox dismissed her with a wave. The criteria are specific. Dr. Fletcher, who had been quietly studying the moving images on the walls, suddenly spoke. What about Section 7, Paragraph 9 of the Registry Code? The room fell silent. Even the guards turned to look at the human scientist. What did you say? Vox asked, his voice softer but somehow more dangerous. I saw it in the Knowledge Center, Fletcher continued, heart racing but voice steady. Section 7, Paragraph 9 states that any species demonstrating exceptional evolutionary traits qualifies for automatic review before deletion. Vox rose from his seat, towering over the humans. You read the registry code? That information is restricted. The Knowledge Center translated it for us, Reed explained. And according to that code, humans qualify for review. Our rate of technological and cultural development is extraordinarily fast compared to galactic standards. Commander Trell nodded. It's true, Admiral. In just a few thousand years, humans went from stone tools to space exploration. The registry classifies such development as exceptional. Vox's silver patches flashed rapidly, a sign of agitation. This changes nothing. The deletion will proceed as scheduled. Then you'll be violating the registry's own laws, Reed challenged. Before Vox could respond, a junior officer rushed into the chamber. Admiral, urgent message from Central Command. The registry has detected an unusual data surge from Earth. They're requesting information. Vox froze. The registry itself was taking notice. This was unexpected. What kind of data surge? He demanded. The humans are broadcasting everything, sir. Their art, music, science, history, all directed toward the nearest registry relay station. Dr. Miller couldn't help but smile. Earth was fighting back in its own way. A delay of 24 hours, Vox finally said. The deletion is postponed for one Earth day while we assess these claims. No more. As guards led them away, Reed whispered to his companions, We've bought some time. Now we need to find that loophole. Back on Earth, Admiral Wilson received the news of the temporary delay with mixed feelings. It was better than nothing, but far from a solution. 24 hours, he told the United Nations Emergency Council. That's all Reed and his team managed to get us. Then we make every second count, said Professor Howard. Our transmission to the registry needs to be stronger, clearer. We need to show not just our diversity, but our potential. The Brazilian president nodded. What if we use the global satellite network to create one massive transmitter? Possible, said the Chinese premier, but it would overload most of our systems. Do it anyway, Wilson ordered. Better to burn out our satellites than lose the whole planet. On the alien flagship, Reed and his team were confined to guest quarters, luxurious but clearly a prison. Commander Trell had been taken elsewhere, presumably to face discipline. Fletcher, Reed said quietly, what exactly did you see in that registry code? Was there really a Section 7, Paragraph 9? Fletcher smiled. Not that I know of, but I noticed Vox and the other aliens have a near-religious reverence for the registry. I gambled that he wouldn't admit to not knowing a section of their sacred code. Miller laughed softly. Brilliant bluff. But we still need to find a real loophole. Reed paced the room thinking. Trell mentioned that unique problem-solving might qualify us as exceptional. What's more unique than bluffing a superior alien race? That's it, Miller said suddenly. Human creativity. Our ability to imagine things that don't exist yet. What if that's our unique trait? Fletcher nodded excitedly. Most advanced species in their records probably evolved through logical, predictable patterns. But humans make intuitive leaps, create art, tell stories. We need to prove it, Reed said. And we need to get message to Earth about what to focus on in their transmission. Miller examined the room carefully. These aliens use thought-responsive technology. Maybe we can... She closed her eyes and concentrated on the wall, imagining it becoming transparent. Nothing happened. Then she tried picturing a communication panel. Slowly, a section of the wall began to glow. It worked, she whispered. Reed stepped forward. Now we just need to reach the defender without alerting the aliens. Officer Mike Bell was monitoring communications when a strange signal came through. Weak and distorted, but definitely from Captain Reed. The message was brief, but clear. Focus transmission on human creativity. Imagination is the key. All art, fiction, music, theoretical science. Anything that shows we can envision what doesn't exist yet. Bell immediately relayed the message to Admiral Wilson, who ordered a change in the content being broadcast to the registry. Every novel, painting, song and scientific theory humanity had ever produced began flowing into space. In his chamber, Grand Admiral Vox received increasingly concerned reports. The registry had never seen a species respond like this. The data surge from Earth had increased tenfold, and now it contained something the aliens found difficult to categorize: fiction. Stories about things that never happened. Art depicting scenes that didn't exist. Music expressing emotions in abstract form. Sir, his science officer reported, we've analyzed human creative output. They spend significant resources creating and consuming imaginary scenarios. It appears to be central to their development. What purpose does this serve? Vox demanded. Unknown, sir. But their technological innovations often appear in their fiction before becoming reality. They imagine things before building them. For the first time in his long career, Vox felt uncertain. This was not in the protocols. The registry valued logic, order, predictability. Human imagination was chaotic, boundless. Sir, another officer interrupted. The registry has sent a preliminary response. They're ordering a full review of Earth's status. Vox's four eyes widened in shock. A full review hadn't been granted to any planet in over 10 million years. Meanwhile, Reed and his team continued sending secret messages to Earth, guiding humanity's case for survival. The clock was still ticking, but now there was real hope. They had found their loophole. Earth had 48 hours to prove its imagination was worth preserving. The final hours before the registry's decision were the longest in human history. Every person on Earth knew that by this time tomorrow, their planet would either be safe or completely gone. In the United Nations Emergency Chamber, Admiral Wilson watched the massive data transmission streaming to the alien fleet and beyond, to the mysterious registry. Scientists, artists, writers, and musicians from around the world had contributed their best works, humanity's testament to its own worth. Sir, a young lieutenant said, Captain Reed is requesting to speak with you. Wilson nodded, and Reed's face appeared on the main screen. He looked tired, but determined. Admiral, we've made progress, Reed reported. The registry has ordered a full review. What are our chances? Wilson asked. Uncertain, but Commander Trell has been released from custody and is helping us navigate the process. Apparently, his challenge to the deletion order has garnered support among some of the alien crews. Wilson leaned forward. What more can we do from Earth? Keep broadcasting, sir, but focus on our greatest imaginative leaps, the times humans envisioned something impossible, then made it real. Space, travel, computers, medical breakthroughs. Show how our creativity drives our progress. Wilson nodded. We're on it. And Reed. Good luck up there. Aboard the alien flagship, the atmosphere had changed. Many crew members now openly watched the human broadcasts, fascinated by Earth's creative output. Some even began questioning the deletion order among themselves. In a secure meeting room, Reed, Miller, and Fletcher sat with Commander Trell and several other alien officers who had joined their cause. The registry representatives will arrive in 6 hours, Trell explained. They rarely interact directly with any species. This is unprecedented. What form will they take? Miller asked. An alien officer named Lorne, whose green-tinted skin marked him as from a different star system than Trell, answered. They exist primarily as energy. They will likely use projection forms that your minds can comprehend. And Grand Admiral Vox? Reed asked. Where does he stand now? Unchanged, Trell said grimly. He believes the registry will confirm the deletion order. He is preparing the fleet to carry out the procedure immediately after the decision. Fletcher looked troubled. Even with all we've shown them, we could still lose everything. There is one more option, Lorne said quietly. The trial of value. All the aliens in the room stared at him in shock. What's the trial of value? Reed asked. Trell's 4 eyes blinked rapidly. An ancient protocol almost never invoked. If a species facing deletion can prove its unique value to the cosmos through direct demonstration, the registry must grant protection. Direct demonstration, what does that mean? Miller asked. You would need to solve a problem that no other species in the registry has solved, Lorne explained. Something that proves your creative approach has value to the entire universe. Reed straightened. We'll take it. Whatever the challenge, humans work best under pressure. On Earth, preparations for the trial of value threw the planet into a frenzy of activity. The greatest minds in every field stood ready to tackle whatever problem the registry might present. Admiral Wilson addressed them from the UN headquarters. We don't know what challenge we'll face. It could be scientific, philosophical, artistic, or something we can't even imagine. But I know this. Somewhere among us is the person or people who can solve it. The Brazilian president stepped forward. For the first time in history, all nations stand as one. There are no enemies today, only fellow humans fighting for our right to exist. A hush fell over the room as a transmission from the alien flagship appeared on screen. Captain Reed stood beside Commander Trell and several other aliens. The registry representatives have arrived, Reed announced. They've approved the trial of value. The challenge will be transmitted to Earth in 10 minutes. The next 10 minutes were the longest of Admiral Wilson's life. When the transmission finally came through, it wasn't what anyone expected. Instead of a message, a strange object materialized in the center of the UN chamber. A cube that seemed to shift and change, with symbols flowing across its surface in patterns too complex to follow. This is the cosmic puzzle, Trell's voice explained over the transmission. It has existed for billions of years. Over 10,000 intelligent species have attempted to solve it. None have succeeded. Dr. Miller studied the cube through the transmission. What are we supposed to do with it? Understand its purpose, and came the reply. You have 1 hour. The cosmic puzzle was instantly transmitted to every research center on Earth. Mathematicians, physicists, linguists, and artists all studied it from their different perspectives. Its patterns seemed random yet ordered, beautiful yet disturbing. At the Global Observatory, a team of scientists mapped the cube's changing symbols, looking for mathematical sequences. At art institutes, creative minds sought meaning in its patterns, comparing them to human artistic traditions. Children around the world watched the puzzle on screens, many drawing what they saw, interpreting it through innocent eyes. As the minutes ticked by, theories emerged and were discarded. The puzzle seemed to resist all conventional analysis. With 15 minutes remaining, a message came from an unexpected source. A classroom in a small town where a teacher had shown the puzzle to her students. The children say it's sad, the teacher reported. They think it's crying. Dr. Miller, watching from the alien flagship, froze. It has emotions? She turned to Commander Trell. Is the puzzle alive? Is it sentient? Trell's body stiffened. That is not a question any species has asked before. Reed caught on immediately. It's not a puzzle to be solved. It's a being to be understood. With 10 minutes left, Dr. Miller directed a new approach. Ask it what it wants. Don't try to solve it. Communicate with it. Around the world, people stopped trying to decode the cube and instead began treating it as a living entity. Musicians played to it, poets read to it, children spoke to it. In the final minute, the cube's patterns began to harmonize with the music being played, its colors matching the emotions in the poetry being read. And then, just as the time expired, the cube unfolded like a flower blooming, revealing a core of pure light that spread throughout the room. On the alien flagship, the registry representatives, beings of pure energy contained in crystalline vessels, pulsed with surprised recognition. "The puzzle has awakened," one announced, its voice echoing strangely. "In all our existence, no species has recognized its sentience. They all treated it as an object to be conquered, not a being to be understood." Grand Admiral Vox stood in stunned silence as the registry representatives continued. The human's instinct to connect, to empathize even with an alien puzzle. This is indeed a unique trait worthy of preservation. The deletion order is rescinded. Earth is now classified as a protected creative reserve. Cheers erupted from Earth as the news spread. Humanity had passed the test. Commander Trell approached Captain Reed, Dr. Miller, and Dr. Fletcher. "You have done the impossible. Your planet is safe now." "What happens next?" Reed asked. "The Armada will depart," Trell explained. "But some of us will stay as ambassadors. The registry is curious about humanity now. Your species has much to teach the galaxy about imagination and empathy." As the alien ships began to leave Earth's orbit one by one, Admiral Wilson raised a toast at the United Nations. "To humanity's imagination, the power that saved our world." Around the planet, people celebrated not just their survival but the dawn of a new era. Earth was no longer alone in the cosmos, and the deletion that should have happened millions of years ago had finally been erased from the schedule, permanently. The experiment called humanity would continue, now recognized across the stars for what made it special: the ability to imagine, create, and connect.